Guys, we got a bunch to go over. 24 Entertainment. We got Xbox, Bethesda. We got Square Enix. We got ourselves some PC gaming, future gaming. Warner Brothers presented a little more about a game they're releasing. Guys, it is intense. It is intense, and I just want to start off by saying just video games in general are bringing people together, and last year, video gaming really got people to be a part of a community, and I'll tell you right now, hey, you guys are awesome. We're going to jump into the first thing, being 24 Entertainment today. They were showing off a really cool game, Naraka Blade Point, coming out in August. It's going to be for PC. It's a Battle Royale style game, melee. You got yourself running around, doing stuff with swords, spears, magic. It's a different style. It's changing it up, and it's something that's going to be new to the Battle Royale type of system and look pretty crazy. And so you got to change it up. You got to innovate. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. But let's get into the big heavy hitter today. The most anticipated today, one of the most anticipated, being Xbox and Bethesda. And boy, oh boy, did they start off with a banger, guys. Before we jump too far into it, I just want to say, if you want updates like this, I'm going to be doing this every single day. So any sort of support you guys have for me, be awesome. Hitting that like button is just encouragement in itself. And go ahead and subscribe, be up to date. I do other stuff, do other videos based on video game stuff, but I just want to be your one-stop shop for all things gaming. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So let's get into Xbox and Bethesda. They showed off a grip of games, 30 games, I believe what they said, 27 of which are going to be available to Game Pass subscribers, and 3 of them aren't. Those 3 right out the gates are going to be Far Cry 6, Battlefield 2042, and Diablo's remaster. There you go, right out. I'm not going to try to front load anything. We're going to talk about what people want to hear, and the stuff that's not that important or not that exciting, in my opinion, is going to be at the end. So number 1, let's just talk about it, guys. Halo Infinite. They gave us some gameplay, kind of cinematic gameplay. It looked so cool. I was so excited that they gave us a little bit of the campaign, what that's going to look like. They gave us a little sneak that Cortana somehow got deleted. It's cool. And then they dropped that the Halo Infinite world, the multiplayer, is going to be free to play. Yeah, that's right, guys. It's going to be a season system, free-to-play kind of situation. I was stoked. And after they went through Halo, they went over and they dropped that Sea of Thieves is going to be getting a Pirates of the Caribbean collab with Disney. And I'm just like, what? Sea of Thieves is already dope. And now we're going to throw Jack Sparrow in the mix. We're going to throw some Davy Jones. We're going to throw some Barbossa. I mean, they're doing it. They're doing it. It's sick. After that, we got 2042. They gave us just some crazy gameplay. Battlefield 2042. I mean, you change the environment, you blow up buildings. The battlefield's huge. They've doubled the amount of players, which is over 100 now. Over 100 players can play at the same time. It's insane, and it looks so good. And it was cool to see some of that gameplay footage and the different mechanics that are coming with that game. And well, Bethesda had some pretty heavy hitting stuff. They opened it up by showing that they're releasing a new game, new universe, new world. This isn't a remake. This isn't an addition. It's a completely new game called Starfield. And it was just a cinematic, kind of cool. There was a gun that was laid down. The space play. It looked cool. It was like the space adventure style astronaut. It looked crazy. It looked real crazy. So yeah, there was really not much to the story, just visuals. And then they bookended it too. Bethesda also released that they're gonna have another crazy style, like you are a part of a team going after vampires. It's called Redfall, more stylistic. You may have more than 4. Again, there wasn't a lot. It was more of like a cinematic story inside of the game engine, not real gameplay shown. So that was really cool to see. And then they went through a bunch of other stuff. Stalker 2, which was really interesting. They showed some cinematic story from that. They went into Back 4 Blood, which is from the Left 4 Dead franchise. And Warner Brothers later today actually went a little bit deeper on what Back 4 Blood is going to be. It's going to be like the Left 4 Dead series. We're running around with some friends killing zombies and stuff, but there's going to be PvP, player versus player. There's going to be PvZ, where you actually can be a zombie if you want. You can attack your players, and there's going to be different swarm modes. It's just going to have a little bit more of an extensive interaction with the game itself, so that's going to be a grip of fun. I was stoked on that. Something I'm going to be wanting to play. And something that actually I knew very little about was Forza and Forza Horizons 5. They're doing some crazy things. The biggest thing that impressed me out of that game was that they actually are taking photorealistic environments and making sure that that's a part of the gameplay, recording up to 24 hours of this sky at 12K resolution to deliver like the most accurate experience. And then of course with next gen systems being able to do these things, and they're introducing some new things like an events lab where you can create your own games inside of that game. It's just a beautiful adventure campaign, and I'm really actually quite excited to play that. I don't play racing games, and this looks this looks pretty fun. As we go deeper into their presentation, they gave us some slight gameplay of Far Cry, more in a cinematic way, blowing stuff up, shooting stuff down. It wasn't a person playing a demo. It was just some of the things that you can do in that game, and I'm excited for it. Now, there was a game that actually took my heart. It was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting to like this, but I'm really into it. Grounded, where you're basically shrunk. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, except you're living in your world and you're doing your thing, and I'm kind of excited for that Grounded game. It looks like a lot of fun. Replaced is a 16-bit kind of post-apocalyptic side-scroller 3D world. They're just using the style, old school style, and putting a new school twist on it. It's looking sick. It's looking dope. Not a lot of explanation. The Bethesda and Xbox thing was more trailers. They just released heavy-hitting trailers to get people hyped between this year and next year. There's a lot of 21 released later 21s, early 22s, and some just like in 22. Bethesda got on board and they're like, hey, these are a bunch of games coming to Game Pass. And they got Doom Eternal coming, Skyrim's coming, Fallout 76 with some updated contents coming to Game Pass, Elder Scrolls Online, Party Like an Animal, as well as Hades. You heard me correctly, ladies and gents. We're getting Hades to Game Pass. If you don't know what Game Pass is, I got some videos on that, and you're probably seeing a link above me. And then Contraband had the coolest trailer, in my opinion. There was no explanation, literally no explanation. Just the trailer looked pretty sick. And then this is just the rest of the games that were released. And I'm pretty sure this is all of them. If I missed one, just put it in the comments below. Psychonauts 2, Slime Rancher 2, Shredders, which is like a snowboarding game, Atomic Heart, Among Us. Yes, they're going to release Among Us on the Xbox with 15 people. Pretty crazy. The Ascent, Age of Empires 4, which is going to be PC, and Flight Simulator gets an update and gets some DLC. And that DLC is none other than Top Gun, baby. We got some Top Gun DLC. And then the last thing that I want to say about this presentation was they gave us an Outer Worlds 2 trailer that was so funny. It basically was just a complete, like, fake trailer about a game with not real footage. And at the very end saying, developers don't even have footage for this game yet, but just know that we have the thought in mind. Now into Square Enix. Square Enix gave us some stuff. What they didn't give us was Final Fantasy 16, any sort of Final Fantasy 14 online stuff, or Forspoken, which looks pretty cool. They did have a presentation from Eidos Montreal, the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Yeah, full Guardians of the Galaxy game. Not like a small DLC for the Marvel game, which they did go into some of that, but a real Guardians of the Galaxy game where you play as Quill, as Star-Lord. Pretty cool. It doesn't look like the movies. It looks actually a little bit different, but it does follow in line with comic book lore. In fact, they brought some of the creators over to make sure that some of that storytelling was there. They brought in some villains that weren't shown in the movies, and they brought it from the comic book world. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see what they can do with that. It's a third-person style. You run around, walk around. It looks kind of like Final Fantasy VII, the way that they did it. It looks cool. It looks interesting, and it's definitely one that's going to be fun. They gave us 15 minutes of gameplay, which was cool. They then went to explain some of the Marvel DLC, showing off the new characters that we're going to be getting, as well as the full DLC of the Black Panther War for Wakanda, which doesn't have any additional cost, which I thought was kind of cool. They didn't show us any specific gameplay, but they did show us some in-game cinematics. They went on to talk about the Life is Strange series, the remaster and the new game, a series I didn't know existed. And then they went on to talk about how they're remastering Final Fantasy 1 through 6 for the mobile, and showed us some mobile games: Hitman, Sniper, Near Reincarnation, Final Fantasy, collab with War of Visions, Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, and pretty much it. I mean, they did drop Babylon's Fall, which will be and Stranger of Paradise, where they went on to say the word chaos 116 times, and it's going to be a Final Fantasy Origins kind of game. I wanted more. I wanted different things. But, what are you going to do when you're following Xbox and Bethesda? You're going to do your best. And the PC Gamer presentation can be summed up in a few sentences. Sentence number one is they were heavily Mech Warrior themed. In fact, Mech Warrior got the most airtime in it. So if you're a Mech Warrior fan, there's a great deal of support there. They're talking about some games that will eventually or appear on console, Chivalry 2 being one of them. They also talked about some hardware. A glove that basically replaces a mouse that is still in test production, a force feedback steering simulator, and an Asus monitor that is $3,000. that's pretty much the sum of the PC Gamer. There were plenty of game trailers that they showed, but realistically, nothing popped out at me, and I'm not a PC gamer. And to finish it off, the Future Games presentation, which is all the games coming out. They just showed a bunch of trailers. No real explanation of anything, just trailers upon trailers upon trailers in rapid succession. So you can watch a bunch of trailers if you'd like, and there really is not much AAA work happening there. I hope you guys like this recap. I know the last couple of ones I sped through, but I'm trying not to waste your time, because those two presentations, I feel like if I went into detail, you'd get mad at me. I'd get mad at me. They were kind of boring. All right, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow for day 3 of E3. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out these recaps, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button. Just hit it. Let me know you like it by hitting the like. Share this with a friend who would want to know something about E3. And last but certainly not least, as always, happy gaming.